Hello, my name is David. Um, my full name is Davi Miranda Vance da Silva. I'm in SGD 289, section N886. And for my capstone project, I had actually turned in my project proposal to be a 3D game. I had about 3 days to figure out how to implement combat in 3D games because didn't really know how to do that. And while I did manage to figure it out in the end, I was heavily suggested by my instructor to do something 2D, which is what I'm more used to. Well, so with that in mind, I decided to actually visit some 2D titles and see something that would be simpler so that I could actually fit it within the scope for this class. It's an 8-week class and it's supposed to be a very nice project, so I decided to go with something inspired by Castlevania 3, actually. Uh, so, in the end, what I ended up coming up with was this is a first draft for a GDD. um, Lots of ums in this video. I decided to do something related to those older sword and sorcery movies. Make a Castlevania inspired game but with this sort of fantasy theme to it rather than more gothic horror. I'm pretty sure that yep, imagined Castlevania 3, but instead of a gothic horror background, it's a fantasy. Players will go through levels using their chosen character, each with their own abilities, defeat enemies and bosses, and proceed through a magical world filled with danger and excitement. I did mention further along in it that for this class, I intend on only focusing on one of the characters, even though I came up with, well, had thought of different mechanics for 4 characters. All of them are going to share the same movement actions. It's really just the combat sections of each one of them that's going to be different depending on which character you pick. For this project, I intend to only focus on the barbarian since he only has essentially a normal attack and a strong attack, pretty much. So, unfortunately, I have not done nearly as much work as I wish I would have in this class so far. I got a couple of art pieces done. On this one, I actually had this first sprite that I forgot to take out of here. Some animation ideas for the different attacks. Um, this over here would be sort of a combo system, and this would be sort of the heavy attack animation. This is sort of the barbarian, but there would be each one of the 4 different characters. These are just sketches. I plan on refining these later on, just as I plan on refining these and actually putting down these animations, or even just writing down placeholders. So far, I only really have the idle sprite over here. Not going to be able to zoom in on that, unfortunately, because formatting is going to be very silly with me if I do. But oh well, I feel like I have a decent enough idea of what I want to do. Unfortunately, I've been trying to work on it, but I really have only been able to mess around with coding stuff today. So really, all I managed to do was actually mess myself up by decreasing the movement speed because I was trying to get a better feel for it. And yeah, I need to figure out the angular drag because even though I'm not doing anything in 3D, um, I did use Unity 6, which I am absolutely not used to. So, what I'm thinking of right now is I'll actually switch back to Unity 2022 or 2023, whichever was the most recent version of Unity before 6.0, just because I do not. I've been running into some trouble finding out some tutorials for the many differences that have been going on with Unity 6.0. I didn't think there would be that many differences, so this has been an unforeseen problem. Other than that, in the older versions, I've pretty much got this the movement figured out as well as the combat, how to implement animations. So it would really be just creating assets, which some of them I've already decided to import to this project, and I can just import to another project. I have some um, just sprite packs and things like that, which would make it a lot easier on me so that I don't have to actually manually create every single texture for the game. But oh well. I already have what I want the gameplay to be like. I already figured out that I'm not doing this in Unity 6000 just for the sake of time. Unfortunately, this is not nearly as much work as I would have liked to have done in the time that we've had this class for, but I'll try to prioritize this a little more. I've just been busy with some outside just life things that have been going on these past couple weeks. But everything should be better on this as soon as this week passes by or something. And even then, I'll do my best. So yes, not as much progress as I'd like, but at least I have a goal. I have the set goal. I know where I'm going. I know what I want. And yeah, let's do this. I think I was working on some sort of concept that I haven't posted in that page just for this initial level. Since it's just a demo level, I don't want there to be too much platforming just yet. Um, I wanted to just spawn in the village, so this was where players would sort of figure out movement back and forward, just jumping, etc. Um, this right here would be where players get introduced to combat, and you would find ideally this many enemies, but for the scope of the class, right now I'm thinking of only having one type of enemy, or maybe two types, and then the boss. So that's player movement, one or two enemies, and then the boss, and the rest is really just movement and asset placing. Shouldn't be too hard, and so I hope that as soon as I have this bare bones project in place, I will. Oh yeah, there's this other variation of enemies over here. Um, and as soon as I have this more bare bones project in place, I do intend on expanding on it. So adding more animations, adding more enemies, and hey, maybe even adding more player characters for players to use, and messing around with UI. I do mention in my GDD that I do want to have the arrow keys for movement, jump, attack, use item, and these three over here, I'm not sure if I want to implement them just yet, which are about picking up items and um, actually, I might use the pickup item instead of the use item for this for healing items and things like that. But inventory is something that I'm not sure if I want to touch on for the scope that we have. So yes. Also, I'll try to implement some checkpoint system for this. And yes, I have this. I have a GDD draft. And yeah, oh well, have my planned out things over here. I did use AI. I'm not sure if I can actually see. Oh yes, I had this demo timeline just because I am naturally not very good, even when there's not much going on in life. I'm not very good at scheduling myself. So here we go. I had this planning out calendar for my for what I was meant to do, and I am so kind of stuck in between these two over here, but it's somewhat in schedule, just maybe half a week late. But oh well, that's it. Um, this is what I have for now. Hopefully, I'll have more for the next update. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next update, next report. Oh well.